Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm not alone, I'm with Michal. You saw his amazing performances in the last rallies that I did. I will put them in the description, and I will also add in which stage Michal was driving. For who is new in the channel, after that some of you saw Michal driving. You asked me a lot of questions about his car, his driving style, and I did already some interviews with him during a RC rally. But this time we are here at his home. Thank you for having me here in a beautiful city, Węgierska Górka. I think that I will add some footage so you will see what I mean when I say that it's so beautiful. And here we have all the time that we need for talk about Michal and his RC cars. So Michal, tell us something about you.
As Dario said, my name is Michal. I'm 29 years old and I live here in Węgierska Górka. I started my RC career in 2017. I have always been a fan of rallying in general, and I always went to rally as a spectator with my dad, even when I was a kid. And after some years I was watching YouTube videos and I saw these RC rally cars and I felt amazed about them. So I decided I want to buy one. And I bought an XV-01 in 2016. And after some time my colleague told me that there is some competition in these kind of cars near me. There was a first rally of Śląska Liga Rajdowa RC, Silesian RC Rally League, in Żywiec, which is 30 kilometers further than me. So I just went, and that's how my career started. As for now, I have participated in 61 RC rallies.
A lot.
Yes, a lot. I have been on a podium 29 times, and I have won 13 rallies so far. So I think my career was pretty successful.
Yes, yes, I can see that it's pretty successful by your driving style and also seeing how details and patience you put in your RC models. Talking about RC rally, since when RC rally is practiced in this part of Poland?
The creator of Śląska Liga Rajdowa was Mariusz Urbańczyk, and he created Silesian RC Rally League in 2016. I didn't know anything about it at the time. I came to Silesian RC Rally League in 2017, but after some time Mariusz had other things in plan, and the league had other things in plan, and I was a coordinator and main director of Silesian Rally League between 2018 and 2021. Now there is a other governor in Silesian RC League, but I think that I also am one of the main organizers to this day.
Okay, so let's say that if you are watching this video and you are from Poland or you live near Silesia region, now you know that here RC rally is practiced constantly since a few years. So maybe you can comment under this video, or I will put the Facebook page of Silesian RC Rally League, and you can contact them and came here for enjoy a RC rally event. Okay, I see that you put here some cars. If you can introduce them briefly.
This is the XV-01, which I have been using for first 3 years of my driving. 2016 when I bought model, 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
From 2018 to 2020 and some 21, I was using an Xray T3, and in 2021 I started building Xray XB4, and I am using it to this day. And the footage you have seen on Dario YouTube channel, I was driving this model.
Okay, so Michal, I have a small proposition right now. Let's do a introduction, or let's talk about each of this model. So the guys will be able to see them in detail and maybe understand more how a RC Rally looks, because we have 3 different chassis, and which modification you did to each of these car. What do you think?
Yes, that's amazing idea. I think we will start with XV-01, which probably many of you are starting RC career with, and it's amazing chassis, and it's a great point to start your career.
Yeah, in fact, I'm using XV001, and I think that even in season 2024, I will still keep using it. And I'm already planning some improvements, but I will show them next year. Okay, let's start. Okay, everything is ready, and now Michal is going to introduce his Tamiya XV-01.
My XV-01 I bought in 2016, and for the year I was driving near house with a stock model. Then I started participating in RC Rally in 2017, and since then I've been making modifications to this model. First modification in 2017 was converting this chassis to aluminum chassis, which I don't have right now, but aluminum chassis is very similar to what Dario has been driving. Dario has a carbon chassis, and I was using an aluminum chassis. I have been pretty successful with this model. In 2017 I was third in general classification in Silesian RC League, and in 2018 I won the whole general classification in Silesian RC Rally League, so I was a Silesian champion.
Michal, can you please tell us, or maybe explain to the viewers, that this is the 3D printed chassis, and why we do this modification to the XV-01?
So why we are doing this modification? As you can see, I have a 3D printed chassis, but also on Dario you have seen carbon chassis, we have aluminum chassis. But why do we do that for the first? So the most important is servo location and the direct steering that aluminum, carbon chassis and also 3D printed chassis is offering. That is a direct steering to the wheels in this kind of chassis. In 3D printed chassis you have completely protected electronics, so compared to carbon and aluminum, when you have to make some kind of protection, in 3D printed chassis you have already protection. So my electronics, which means receiver and ESC, are right there, so they are completely protected from water. You can put a duct tape in here and protect everything. And also, compared to original, you have better battery location in the rear, which means that you have better weight balance. So in aluminum, carbon and 3D printed chassis you can expect 55% front and 45% weight in rear. So it means that weight balance is really good in this kind of chassis. Also, in this kind of chassis you have removed all the unnecessary plastic that there is, all the necessary things that can block your steering, block your wheels on rally stage. And this is kind of reason that you made these modifications to your RC rally car. So first I have been using an aluminum chassis, and then something like that appeared on Czech Republic. It is an add-on on aluminum chassis, so you kind of put it on aluminum chassis, bolt it down, and it was something new in RC Rally. And then the guy you've met, because you've seen him on Dario's videos, Jan Szmarda from RC Rally Tracks. You have seen his Dakar Rally Tracks in RC Rally Žilin. He designed this chassis, and you can buy this chassis and 3D print it for your own. What is the reason to do that? It is way a lot cheaper than carbon chassis. So if you don't have money, and if you don't have this kind of abilities to buy a carbon chassis, then this 3D printed chassis is way cheaper and way easier to start with if you are starting your XV-01 career.
Okay, so shortly we can say that the XV-01 it's a great start for each RC rally driver, and it has a ton of modifications, and it is easy to adapt for asphalt and off-road courses.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. What modifications did I did to this car? For the most of my career, when I was driving XV-01, I used stock motor, this 27 turns motor. I always use Savox servo. For me, they are working the best. Electronics. Now I am using some Chinese ones, but when I was driving with a stock Tamiya motor, I was using a Hobbywing 1060 brushed motor ESC. Battery pretty standard size. The big one, I was using different kind of batteries, Gens Ace to be more specific at most. As far as shock absorbers, here I have a Trackstar ones. I don't know if they are still available, but for most of my careers I was using these Trackstar ones, both on Hobby King, but I also have been using some Chinese ones on this chassis. So I think there are many modifications available, and for this model they will work fine.
Okay, we made some changes, and now Michal is ready to introduce to you his next model, that is a Xray T3.
My Xray T3 I have been using in 2019 and 2020. It has been my most successful model. In 2019 I was second in classification because I had problems at the beginning. I was just preparing this construction, I was new to that, and I had a lot of problems to make sure that this construction is working properly. And in 2020 I dominated the season. I won every rally apart from one, and in this one I was second. So this model...
Michal, we have to go back to these prestations, these performances.
Yes. So you can see the Xray T3 is a touring chassis. Now you can see the original chassis from Xray T3. As you can see, there is a lot of holes in here. It is prepared for carpet, it is prepared for clean asphalt, for touring competition. And you have to make a lot of modifications to make it work in RC Rally. I have designed whole chassis. My friend Patrick, who you could have seen in previous rally, helped me to measure this chassis, and we designed a prototype from wood. Then we stripped the bolts and checked if everything is proper. Everything can be screwed properly. If location is okay. And then we cut out an aluminum chassis, and this aluminum chassis you can see here right now. So this aluminum chassis is whole my design, and also shock towers. These also have to be edited so you can put on much bigger shock absorbers. So this is everything is mine construction, and Dario will also include some of the projects that I've created on the screen. As you can see, this kind of car is, as Patrick have said, Coca-Cola on wheels, because you have to make a perfect cover so the stones doesn't strip anything in here, anything in the differentials, in pinion and spur gear. So constructing a rally car based on touring chassis, the most important thing is cover. So as you can see here, I've made a thin aluminum cover, and it goes something like this. You can see here cover, and from PETG a cover goes on top. You can tape it and you can drive it. You have probably seen some videos in RC Rally from Czech Republic, and every competitor who is on top, the top 5 guys they are all driving similar chassis, T3, T4. From T4 onward, they made a change and they located the motor in central, so that's the change. But you can see construction is pretty basic, and these cars are a lot simpler than, for example, XV-01 or XV-02. Here you have two differentials connected by belts to the motor, and here you can see the servo arm, and this servo arm is moving the wheels. So the servo lays down here. Here are the electronics, and here is a battery compartment which you can place a standard battery. And as you can see here, this has been my most successful body from this 2020 season, my beloved Fiesta. I put also this Fiesta because I like it so much. I put it on 3D printed chassis, and you can put also this kind of chassis on different type of cars, for example the M chassis body, for bigger body as well as Traxxas slash body. So you can
sorry, that year you're using this Fiesta on this chassis?
Yes, this right? Fiesta was used on this chassis, and also this Hyundai that, as you can see, he has taken a lot of beating, and he has a lot of cracks everywhere. This Hyundai I also was using on this kind of chassis, the Xray T3 chassis. So in 2018 I saw the Xray in the Czech Republic, and I fell in love with them. First I've bought an Xray T2, and then after some time I've bought an T3, and I've created this monstrosity so I can race in RC Rally properly.
Okay, Michal, thank you for explaining everything about this chassis. And now I think that we are going to pass to the last and most interesting part. Okay, Michal, last chassis of our journey. Please introduce to us your XB4?
XB4.
XB4, okay.
This is an Xray XB4. I started building it in 2021. I was building it for almost a year, and I have been using it since 2022 from now. So the onboards you have seen on Dario channel, I have been using this chassis. It's a combination of Xray XB4. Xray XB4 is right down here. Its whole drivetrain system is from Xray XB4, and the suspension arms, drive shafts. So from here onwards there is an Xray T3, so the ordinary touring chassis that you have seen earlier. Why is that?
It looks like a Frankenstein.
Yes, it looks like a Frankenstein. Why is that? This is an original Xray XB4 chassis. As you can see, it is longer than we have to use because our wheelbase have to be around 260 millimeters. The Xray XB4 original chassis is 20 millimeters longer than that. So this is an original Xray XB4, and this is mine chassis. As you can see, it is shortened for about 2 centimeters, and I've added here a little tweak so you can fix the bumper, and the bumper is also from a touring chassis, Xray T3 to be exact. So if you have this chassis which I have created, the next what I've created were 3D printed parts, so you can fit everything here. Also servo protection, servo mount, and a kind of stone protections. And here you can see, here there's a drive spur gear and pinion gear, and there is a protection on that as well. This is not my design, it is design I have found on the internet. It is available for free, so you can use it also on ordinary Xray XB4 chassis as well as in touring core version, as it is right here. So there you have seen that the chassis is different, but also the location of the elements is different as well. I have to reposition the elements of the whole RC model. That means the motor, the battery, and also the two drive shafts that you can see here. This drive shaft is original drive shaft from Xray, and this is modified drive shaft. I had to cut it in half and solder it so it can fit my chassis, and it will be a proper length that I need. So it is a Frankenstein because you have to cut some elements, merge them together from a new perspective, and so on. The shock absorbers are original from Xray XB4, and there isn't any better shock absorber than that if we are talking about gravel performance. On the top I have put a cover. The cover is from Tux RC Racing. So if you don't want to build a Frankenstein like me, if you have Xray XB4 and you want to convert it to rally chassis, you can buy it from Tux RC Rally. You can buy a whole conversion. It is a little bit different than mine. Guys are using some kind of different structures. For example, these two drive shafts are different length than mine. They use different servo protection. There are some tweaks, but the principle of the construction is the same.
Wow, a lot of informations, a lot of history behind each of this model. Thank you a lot. I'm so happy to be able to bring this kind of content inside my YouTube channel. Now I would like to know, from your point of view, weaknesses and strengths of each of these chassis in your opinion, starting from the Tamiya XV-01.
XV-01, if it is stock, it drives like real car because you have a lot of weight on front axis. Engine is before the front axis, and a lot of weight is in here.
Yeah, in the original XV-01 we have the engine, servo,
yes,
electronic,
yes,
battery, and here there is like an empty space.
Yes, exactly, and it is very understeering, just like normal car. It is a lot understeering, and we are making modifications to XV-01 to kind of make it more like a race car, not like a rally car. So this is a big weakness of XV-01 when it's stock.
Okay.
When it's modified, it handles a lot better, so that's good. But the main weakness for me is a lot of space that you need is occupied by elements of the chassis. So you kind of can't put bigger shock absorbers. There is a kind of place missing here, down here. You kind of have to cut something there and right there. So in gravel specifications, it has limitations, but on the asphalt, on the on-road rallies, I think this chassis is amazing. But it is very easy to obtain. It is easy to modify because there are a lot of conversions available on the internet. So if you don't want to make your own versions, like you have seen here, I've made my own chassis. I am constructing my own RC models. If you don't want to do that, if you want to be happy and drive your rally car, the XV-01 has modifications which are available to you, and it's amazing.
Okay.
The Xray T3, the weakness is the whole construction of the car. So you have to construct your own car, you have to set up it, so that's the main weakness. Apart from if we are talking about strength, it is amazing on every surface, and if you construct this car properly, it will win every rally in the right hand. So it don't have weaknesses apart from the whole construction, because constructing this whole RC rally car is very difficult, and making this inner body is also difficult, and it's one of the most important thing in this RC rally car.
Okay, okay. And about your last model?
My last model, Xray XB4, I don't think it, when we are talking about strength, the gravel rallies, on the gravel rallies, it has no match. It is amazing on gravel rallies.
I agree on that too.
But if we are talking about asphalt rallies, it is not as good as these two constructions, but it's also fine. If we are talking about construction, now you can buy a whole conversion from Tux RC Rally Racing, but it is also hard if you want to do it for yourself. If you want to construct it for yourself, you have to buy Xray XB4, Xray T3, you have to combine it, you have to design it. It is still very hard, but there are conversions available. So it's kind of good in this way.
Okay, okay. Now I'm so curious to, let's say, I don't want to say have a challenge, but it will be interesting to play a bit. And is it possible to design a course?
Yes, of course.
Okay, okay. So the idea now is to make a course. I will put the camera in some points on a static mode, so we can make some comparison. But I also want to play with you about who is the best driver between us. And we are going to design the course. And I'm going to race with your Xray. We are going to race with my XV-01 on the same tires. And you're going to exchange each other. So in this way, it's not going to be the car, but the driver. What do you think?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Try.